Blake Shelton over here is going to have a problem his entire career because his first record was a #1 song called Austin, and everybody calls you Blake Austin.
Blake Austin, I've had that since the beginning. I'll take it, though. I'm just glad to be hearing something about me on the radio. I'll take what I can get. Man, that song just kind of came out and gave me a career real quick here, and man, I'm real thankful for it. I want to say something, though. I've been sitting here, everybody keeps saying, man, you're being so quiet. You're so quiet. Why don't you say something? I'm just soaking all this in. I'm learning so much. I don't know. I can't speak for the rest of the younger generation here, but it's just, man, I feel like a fool sitting here right now. It's like, man, you guys this is it to me. But what gets me the most excited is thinking, you guys have all these great stories, and I love to hear them, is that because of these type situations, someday I'm going to have stories like you guys have, and that's going to be cool. I'll be able to say Bill Anderson forgot my name. Call me Blake Austin or something. Just in the hall a while ago, I passed, and it was nothing to him, but I passed Marty in the hall there, and he said, "Hey, you're Blake, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Your life just changed, didn't it?" Yes, it did. But it's cool. I mean, I appreciate you guys taking this younger people under your wing, and man. We've got so much to learn, obviously, or I do, sitting here with you guys. I want to tell the story about how I ended up in Nashville, if I can. I'm from a little town in Oklahoma called Ada, and there you go. She's from just north of there in Pauls Valley. That's right. Yeah. And another Okie right here in front of me. Never heard of you, but you'll do okay, I'm sure. Just give it a little time there, buddy. But anyway, there was a lady, and I haven't heard anybody mention her name yet, and I know she was a good friend of everybody here at the Opry, Mayborn Axton. Yeah. She had lived in Ada for a while, and they brought her back one time to give her the key to the city or something. I can't remember what it was, but they had a little entertainment for her that night, and I was part of the entertainment that they had for her. And I remember after the show was over, I got a chance to visit with her, and she told me that if I would make the move to Nashville, she thought that someday I could, maybe get a record deal or something. And so, man, that was the first person that I had ever met that was actually in the music industry, and it was a big deal to me. So 2 weeks out of high school, I was here in Nashville. I was still 17 years old, and I remember calling her when I got here and said, "May, I moved to Nashville. This is cool. What should I do now?" And it was kind of quiet for a minute, and then she said, "Well, you can come paint my house." So my first job for 2 weeks after I got here was painting Mayborn Axton's house. She had a family reunion coming up, and she wanted the place to look good. And so, but the cool thing about that was Hoyt, her son, Hoyt Axton, was in town during that time, and he wouldn't go in the house and stay. He stayed on his tour bus out in the driveway because they would get in an argument if he went in for too long. They would clash, They were too much alike. And he used to invite me on my lunch breaks to go hang out on the bus with him, and he'd just talk to me about the industry and tell me stories. You guys probably all knew Hoyt. Never met a stranger. And I remember one day I walked in there, I got real brave, and I said something like, "Hoyt, and you've written some great songs, and the thing that was on my mind was Joy to the World." And I said, "But what the heck, what do you mean when you say Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine?" I said, "I don't know what that means." And he said, "Well, I'll tell you." He said, "I believe a songwriter is like a radio transmitter, and like a radio receiver." and the ideas are floating around out there in the cosmos, and it's the job of the songwriter to tune in on these ideas, and once you get one tuned in, the melody comes in. It comes in through your head and down, and the melody comes out of your mouth, and the words go out your arm onto the paper. And he said, "So, you know what, Blake? I did a lot of drugs back then. I really couldn't tell you." He realized about halfway that story that I wasn't buying it. But I'm gonna play a song here, and this is gonna be one I'm just gonna do acoustically. The band doesn't know it, so. But one day I walked onto the bus though, and he started tapping on the table there in his bus, and he said, "Listen to that," and he sang me this song called "Old Red." It's a love song about a prison dog, and it ended up being the first thing we put on my album here 7 years later. I'm getting to be old now. Well, I caught my wife with another man, and it cost me 99. On a prison farm in Georgia, close to the Florida line. Well, I've been here for 2 long years. I finally made the warden my friend. And so he sentenced me to a life of visa, taking care of old Red. Now, old Red, he's the damnedest dog that I've ever seen. He's got a nose that can smell a 2-day trail. He's a 4-legged tracking machine. You can't consider yourself mighty lucky to get past the gators and the quicksand beds. But all these years that I've been here, ain't nobody got past Red. And the warden sang, come on somebody, why don't you run? Old Red's itching to have a little fun. Get my lantern, get my gun. Red'll have your treat for the morning come. Yeah. Well, I paid off the guard and I slipped out a letter to my cousin up in Tennessee. Lord, and he brought down a blue tick hound. She was pretty as she could be. Well, they pinned her up in the swampland about a mile just south of the gate. And I take old Red for his evening run, and I just drop him off and wait. And the warden sang, come on somebody, why don't you run? Old Red's itching to have a little fun. Get my lantern, get my gun. Red'll have your treat for the morning come. Yeah. Now Red got real used to seeing here's a lady every night. And so I kept him away for 3 or 4 days and waited till the time got right. Well, I made my run with the evening sun, and I smiled when I heard him turn Red out. 'Cause I was headed north to Tennessee, and old Red was headed south. And the warden sang, come on somebody, why don't you run? Old Red's itching to have a little fun. Get my lantern, get my gun. Red'll have your treat for the morning come. Now there's red-haired blue ticks all in the south. Love got me in here and love got me out. Thank you.
I've heard